Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 8th Hofstra Digital Remedy Venture Challenge. This is a very special group of students participating in the 2020 competition today. We started out the competition during a normal but always exciting spring semester at Hofstra University. They all entered the competition participating in a boot camp at the Idea Hub on March 6th, and then the coronavirus pandemic hit our state. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 8th Hofstra. Okay, I'm going to keep going. The students participating today have experienced real life, what it's like to start a company during this challenging and unprecedented time. That's a unique experience this group will always have. They have persevered and they will succeed. The Center for Entrepreneurship quickly pivoted to a virtual competition with the support of our sponsor, Mycelium. Over the past 8 years, Mycelium, board trustee, alumnus, and founder of Digital Remedy, has sponsored this competition with $600,000 in total prizes, including today's awards. I would also like to thank Dean Janet Lenahan, Professor Letitia Vickery-Dearman, and Professor Shu Yang from the Frank G. Zarb School of Business, and all of the students who are taking Entrepreneurship 115 this semester and are watching on YouTube. The students you will hear in a few moments participated in 100 mentor sessions to prepare for today, and we will continue to support them in developing their businesses. I would like to now introduce our judging panel, starting with Mike Seaman. Mike is also the chair of the Center for Entrepreneurship Advisory Board. His company, Digital Remedy, is a digital media solutions company he co-founded as an undergraduate college student at Hofstra University. He was selected as a semi-finalist in Ernst & Young's Entrepreneur of the Year initiative in 2010 and 2013, and as a finalist in 2009 and 2014. He was recognized by the American Marketing Association, receiving their prestigious 4 Under 40 award in 2015. Thank you, Mike, for all of your support, and we'll hear from Mike in a few minutes. Today, we also have Kevin Hesselberg, who's been involved in the Center for Entrepreneurship since we were founded in 2015 as an entrepreneur in residence and advisory board member. Kevin is a 3-time chief executive officer of companies including OpenLink Financial, Primatics Financial, and the Gemini companies, which combined have an exit value of over $1 billion. Kevin is the primary sponsor of the Hofstra Veterans Venture Challenge, a new program to support veteran entrepreneurs nationwide. Joining us soon will be Bob Hussey, a seasoned financial marketing and operations executive who took News Corp of Pop Radio Corp from NASDAQ IPO and ultimate sale. And under Bob's leadership, it became the country's largest direct broadcast satellite network. He has been integral in our programming at the Idea Hub, and it's actually joining us late because he's working this morning on something urgent with a company called Sterilux Systems, which was founded 2 years ago by Dr. Jonathan Preminger, a graduate of the Zucker School of Medicine and a previous winner of this competition. Lastly, we have Kara Longworth. Kara coordinates the efforts of the Long Island Regional Economic Development Council, a body of business, government, academia, and community focused on recommending economic development strategies for the region and seeking funding. After 9 years, Long Island has won over $700 million for over 885 projects, and President Rabinowitz also serves as the co-chair. I especially thank her for her time today because she's busy working on efforts to help Long Island respond to the economic impacts of the coronavirus. We also have our entrepreneurs in residence on the Zoom with us. Peter Kestenbaum, Barbara Roberts will be joining us shortly, Aaron Foss and Chris Lapinto, who have worked tirelessly with the students over the past couple months to prepare them for today. And I want to thank our staff, Sharon Goldsmith, who has put so much effort into bringing us all together here today, the Vice Dean of Entrepreneurship and Business Development, Kenya Nunez, our Assistant Dean, and Alec Marcus, our student assistant, who helps us coordinate the mentor sessions and is also competing today. Before we get started, I would like to ask Mike Seaman, our program sponsor, to offer a few remarks.
Sure, thanks so much. So I just want to thank all the students, of course, first and foremost, for coming out, for tuning in or being digital via Zoom. These are certainly unprecedented times that the world has not seen in probably, I don't know, a century at least, and maybe never, in terms of where it's going and what's happening in those things. So I really want to commend all of you for being part of this at this time, getting involved at this time, because it's very different. It's very time consuming, I'm sure, with everything you're going through and everything you're dealing with and all of those things. This is a competition about trying to become an entrepreneur and working towards the reality of what that is. I'm sorry, I have a screaming puppy in the background. But I commend you all for trying to pitch, trying to win, trying to create a business, and going after your dreams, especially at such a daunting moment in our global economy where it's ever more difficult than it ever was before. So again, if you win, fantastic. If you don't, you're a winner already by being here, by working so hard, and by taking all this time out to create this pitch and really stick to your dreams in especially such a daunting time. So thank you for being part of this competition. Thank you for putting in all this work and effort, and congratulations already, win or lose, and good luck.
Thank you so much, Mike, and thank you for your support of student entrepreneurs over the past 8 years. Okay, so let's get started. Each team will have 5 minutes to pitch. There will be 1 minute of judges' questions, and I will call on the judge's name to ask the question. When I'm calling your name, please share your screen and unmute yourself. The pitches will conclude at approximately 12:30. The judges will leave this Zoom room and select the top 3 winners, and we'll come back to make an announcement at 12:45 p.m. In between that time, our entrepreneurs and residents will provide some feedback. So good luck to everybody, and let's get started. Our first team is A Brand. The founder is Desiree Abdelkader, Business 2022.
Can everyone see okay?
Desiree, if you can see my screen at the top, I'll provide time cards to make sure that you have enough time and you're set to go. I just need to know whenever you're ready. I'll start a timer.
Okay, Alec, thank you so much. I see you.
Of course.
I'm ready.
Cool.
A Brand, your brand. We don't sell pears, we sell shoes. Hi, my name is Desiree Abdelkader, and I got 99 problems, and my feet are one. A Brand creates unique individual shoes to address any foot issue, such as bunions, flat feet, and feet that are different in lengths and widths. Brad in photo 1 has 2 different sized feet due to his left club foot, which is 1.5 sizes smaller than his right unaffected foot. Photo 2 shows Annie's collapsed arch in her left foot, which makes it wider. To get extra width, Annie cut the edges of her slipper because she still can't find slippers and shoes wide enough. Her right foot has a medium arch and does not need as much width. Photo 3 shows my bunion on my left foot. New Balance is known to have a wide width, and after a long day at work, my feet swell. Even with a mild bunion, this width is clearly not enough for me. Options today are not enough because their wide widths aren't enough, some don't come in half sizes, and they only sell in pairs. A Brand positions itself by providing individually sold fashionable shoes for customizability in width and size, half sizes, and 3 widths for both men and women. Just like eyeglass lenses have 2 different prescriptions, well, guess what? So do your feet. A Brand provides the customizability your feet need without sacrificing style, all the while giving your feet their identities back. And here's how we do it in 2 simple steps. First-time buyers will have their feet measured individually on our website. After, the customer will know their 2 sizes and widths. Then the customer will make their first custom purchase of 2 shoes in their sizes and widths for $150. Future shoe purchases will be $100 each. Brad is a doctor and on his feet all day. After getting measured, Brad made a custom purchase of 2 shoes on our website for $150 after being referred by his podiatrist. He purchased a left sneaker in a B width in size 9 and a right sneaker in B size 10.5. He loves this customizability so much that he purchased a second custom pair of dress shoes for his sister's wedding. And yes, Brad is still crushing it on the dance floor. Now, Brad has a genetic condition, a club foot. We realized that people like Brad are our primary targets, but then we realized that we may have an even broader market than we thought, people with foot injuries. Annie is a hardworking mom who has overpronation in her left foot and always experiences more wear and tear on her left shoe because of it. Annie made a first custom purchase of 2 A-brand sneakers, and after 5 months of more wear and tear, Annie decides she needs a replacement and purchases an individual left sneaker for $100 in an A2 width, size 9.5. And Annie continues to live a happy and healthy lifestyle with her buddy Blake. This is our tech pack and prototype, both sent to the manufacturer. Generally, foot issues are significantly high among Americans. Specifically, each year, 330,000 babies in the US are born with club foot like Brad, and 6% of the US population will have a foot injury like Annie, which means 20 million people with foot issues could benefit from our shoe and our purchase customizability model. There are 15,000 podiatrists in the US. We want 50, referring 50 patients to our website through provider codes that patients will enter on our website to ensure quality patient care. Meet Dr. Ellis, our first partner. We would need around $100,000 and a unit cost of no more than $50 per pair for the first 2,500 customers, with our retail cost at $150 per pair, to give us an expected shared revenue of $250,000 from the podiatrist channel. An expected profit would be over $160,000 after expenses and podiatrist revenue. In a nutshell, we sell custom pairs and individual shoes. Our first 2,500 customers will come from partnering with podiatrists. It's a close-knit community, and we would attend events to promote A-brand. I am part of this foot issue population, along with my mother, brother, and friends. It is part of my life, so I get it. Revenue will come from our increased partnerships, marketing, and pairing style with function. I always had an innate passion to help level the playing field. It's time for a comeback, for us to put our best feet forward. If you have a foot issue, A-brand hopes to be your brand too. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Desiree. I'm going to ask Mike Seaman to ask a question.
Sure. I guess my main question would be, you talked somewhat in the presentation about, I think, some of what you've created already. Have you created a pair? How many pairs? Have you sold any pairs? And where are you in understanding that production cycle at this point?
At this point, we are negotiating with the manufacturer. We do have the prototype, as I said, the measurements in the tech pack. So we are looking to move forward with that. Along with other styles, we have a lot of long-term goals as well, such as built-in features that we also want to incorporate.
And then just a follow-up, have you researched any sort of marketing plan as to how you're going to get A-brand out and known in the market versus the cost and the profit per shoe?
Absolutely. So I do have connections regarding websites. So marketing is definitely going to be a big component, as well as the podiatrist channel, as I mentioned, and we do have our first partner secured. I can easily go to the Marriott and attend a conference. I do have connections at the Marriott. So yeah, we want to explore those two channels.
Okay, thank you, Desiree.
Thank you so much.
So our next competitor is Banter, Tyler Yagman and Nicholas Bruno. They're law students graduating in 2021. Tyler and Nick, you can share your screen now, and please remember to unmute yourself, and you could start when you're ready.
Thank you. Let me share my screen.
And I'll show some time cards at the top again, and just whenever you're ready, I'll start the timer.
All right, I'm ready. Nick, are you ready? Is your mic working?
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay, we're ready. Hi, I'm Tyler Yagman,
And I'm Nick Bruno.
and I have no interest in buying a Casper mattress.
And neither of us can get a job with ZipRecruiter because no one is hiring.
Unfortunately, this is the space right now for podcast advertising.
But we're not just here to talk about podcast advertising.
The problem is podcasts are conversations. They tell rich stories.
But advertisers don't have the tools to reach their target listeners to effectively tell their stories.
This is because the current approach to podcast ads lacks engagement.
Take our friend Parker, for example. He represents the average podcast listener, but Parker has a problem.
Parker's problem is that he also has no need for a Casper mattress. He's also sick of hearing the same ad 5 times a week. But the general consensus agrees. Baked in ads don't work. Baked in ads render ad campaigns ineffective. Also, media platforms are really not responsible with their user data. The podcast demographic really understands that.
If we had things our way, podcast apps would let advertisers talk to targeted listeners while rewarding listeners for their data. Introducing Banter, the listener-centered podcast platform, where it pays to banter.
And when you press play, you'll know why Banter is better. Baked-in ads are half-baked ads. We use proprietary technology to insert streaming ads into each podcast. We also solve the data privacy problem by rewarding listeners for their data with Ethereum. Banter is also community-centric. It's a space that promotes conversation between listeners and podcasters alike.
Let's go through the listener experience. First, the listener signs up and takes the listener quiz. Second, they then play their first episode with Banter ads. At the end of the episode, they'll receive a summary detailing the rewards they earned and the ads they were interested in. Fourth, listeners can earn more by taking short surveys. And last, Banter autoplays to the next episode.
Let's break it down. Listeners get 25 cents worth of Ethereum for each ad they listen to. And listeners can also tip the podcast producer with the Ethereum they earn. On the advertiser side, Banter gives advertisers advanced listener data and a more effective way to talk to listeners. Advertisers get exactly what they are paying for only on Banter. And the market for podcasting has grown exponentially. Notably, around 1/3 of Americans are recurring podcast listeners. Half of them listen to multiple podcasts a week.
Let's talk about the business of Banter.
Phase 1, we're going to implement the CPM model, where advertisers target the top 5% of podcasts. But the issue is, all they can do with this model is hope someone clicks on their ads. There's no real science behind it. Banter will initially go after the other 95% of podcasts, which are currently unmonetized. Banter will also sell ad slots at competitive rates, incentivizing podcasters to adopt Banter and create a brand loyalty.
In phase 2, we'll implement our cost per listen model. CPL is significantly more cost effective for advertisers. It lets advertisers target listeners instead of podcasts, while effectively providing valuable and exact data. This is made possible by Banter's unique listener rewards feature. Our timeline is just as dynamic as our ads. As of Q3 of 2020, we expect to have the beta app completed, and we'll expand further into the market in future quarters. Let's talk about timing. Now more than ever, users are demanding power over their data. Also, the podcast industry is growing fast, especially given the momentum to work from home.
And if you want to talk about momentum, we move fast as well. These are some of our accomplishments just in the past month. We're extremely proud of them, and we're very excited about our future features. But we're not all talk. We can get this done. I'm Tyler Yagman, the co-founder of Banter. I'm a rising third-year law student, an ex-fixed income trader, and an early blockchain entrepreneur.
And I'm Nick Bruno, also co-founder and also a rising 3L in law school. And I'm editor-in-chief of the Journal of International Business and Law.
Parker is our CTO. With his development expertise, he's helped his startups raise over $50 million. We also have 2 partnerships with more pending.
We have a signed partnership agreement with Decent Labs, a well-known development lab that specializes in mobile and blockchain technology.
We also have a signed partnership with the Blockchain Center. One of their co-founders is Nick Spanos, the main character of the blockbuster Netflix documentary, Banking on Bitcoin.
Banter is a solution for listeners and a solution for advertisers, so it pays to banter.
Thank you for listening to our pitch, and we'll be happy to take your questions.
Thanks so much. I would like to ask Judge Carol Longworth to ask a question.
Thanks, Stacy. Great presentation. Unfortunately, Stacy picked a topic I don't know too much about. Explain to me. So you're not a podcast platform. You are an advertising venue, and you sell the venue to podcasts. Or exactly what's the operating mechanism?
Sure. I can take this one, Nick. So we are a podcast platform, and we believe that we're creating a really healthy culture around media platforms by being a platform and providing the solutions to advertisers that they don't currently have solutions for, which is streaming ads that directly target listeners instead of ads that target the podcast in general, which is what's going on in the space currently.
So then you have to also develop the content on your podcast?
No, the content, the way the podcast industry works is the content's built into libraries, and these libraries are acquirable in bulk. We're also working on partnerships with specific ad hosting libraries that focus on niche podcast listeners to start and prove the model.
Okay, so you get money from the advertisers, and then you give virtual money to the listeners.
Correct. What we're really excited about is the fact that a listener can listen to the same podcast they listen to now, but they'll be compensated fairly for their data while they're still listening to the same podcast. The experience is
So unlike Facebook ads where we get bombarded by stuff because they kind of like mining our personal data without our consent, essentially, this is your users are actually voluntarily giving you their information, so they're seeing ads that are relevant to them.
Exactly. There's an air of transparency, and it creates a really healthy culture around banter. The model's also
very interesting.
The model's also been proven with Brave browser, which compensates listeners in their own form of cryptocurrency for watching their ads. Over the past year, they've acquired over 4 or 5 million users.
Okay, thanks so much. Thanks so much, Tyler and Nick. Next up is Drive for 5, David Lazar, Journalism 2022. So David, please share your screen and unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'll be ready in 2 seconds. Humans crave a feeling of community. We thrive off a sense of place. And one way we come together is through sports. Billions consume sports regularly, and I have learned how to connect sports to fans in a profitable and personalized way. My name is David Lazar, and this is Drive for 5. Fans struggle with expensive tickets, parking, and concessions, and they would rather watch from their living rooms instead of going to games. There is a widening gap between the live, in-person experience and growing forms of modern sports media. The fans should not have to decide between these two things, and with Drive for 5, they can have both. Drive for 5 is the response to the transition that is happening in sports and every other industry to more personalized, targeted, social media-friendly content. I increase digital and in-person engagement by combining unique online content with a streamlined in-person fan experience. Consumers, communities, and franchises all win. Drive for 5 specializes in reaching the 18 to 34 age demographic, specifically sports fans and college students. My target market wants more personalized social media coverage, podcasts, blogs, interactive online forums, and that is exactly what Drive for Five does. Across new markets, Drive for Five will be the voice fans are not getting anywhere else, uniting communities under a successful model. And this business model has been successfully beta tested across Long Island's loyal fan base. One area of this blueprint is the ticket industry. Teams come to me seeking to fill the seats that they would not normally sell. I advertise to my following of fans looking to get to games for cheap, and I receive referral compensation. And if we can replicate this strategy across 10 other markets, for example, this will generate $100,000 in sales next sports season. And I have experience implementing this strategy. Specifically, I have brokered a deal between Hofstra University and the New York Islanders called the Student Rush Program. Yes, that is my face on the New York Islanders Jumbotron, and under this plan, the Islanders come to me with tickets they are not selling. I then get my following to purchase these tickets, which is very profitable for my business while building a one-of-a-kind relationship with a major market sports team along the way. And this model has led to real sales. Drive for Five strategy has been successful on Long Island and will expand with your help. There is a real business here with a fantastic team of contributors, one that is both safe and exciting to invest in, that is effective at uniting communities in an online and in-person setting. Drive for Five's rapidly growing sales are because of an already effective implementation of my brand into new markets. I have worked with the New York Mets selling tickets during the hockey offseason. The Mets have more fans than the Islanders. They play in a bigger stadium. They sell more tickets. I can and have franchised Drive for Five across new markets to exponentially grow my company. Yes, there is competition. While there are other people attempting to do what I do, nobody has my established professional network, platform, and monetization strategy. I started as a fan and provide unique content a hired public relations employee could not. I do this because I care. Nobody can emulate a fan's passion and perspective, and that is part of the reason why teams have struggled so much to sell out their arenas for decades. Last year specifically, I entered this competition and did not realize how much we could grow. But after taking the advice from the Idea Hub and the entrepreneurs in residence, my last year has been the most successful yet. My ticket promotions with the Mets and Islanders highlight my progress with increased advertising supplementing this income. And since we have last spoken, I have taken a great leap, trademarking the Drive for Five name and likeness under Class 41 with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. This gives me unique intellectual property and, most importantly, protection as I grow. Finally, to give back, I have started a COVID-19 relief fund and have been making donations to purchase meals for local first responders and hospital workers on Long Island. Being gifted a summer incubator space and a digital marketing package will help me scale my business. Because right now, I think of it like this. I am the company doing everything from my kitchen or garage. Yes, it has been very successful for me and profitable, but I am finally ready for my next chapter. This business is scalable across markets. We are a safe and exciting investment that will grow. Drive for Five has made so much progress in the last year, and with your help, the future will be even brighter. My name is David Lazar, and that is Drive for Five.
Great, thanks, David. I am going to ask Kevin Hesselberg to ask a question.
Of course.
Hey, David, so it's hard to look at this presentation and not kind of take in current events. So how would you make any money when there's nobody in the stands? Or even if you just take the Stanley Cup playoffs, like what if they go to neutral sites with no fans, what would happen to the business?
COVID-19 does not take away our communities. In fact, they must grow stronger during these difficult times. My business is not just in-person ticket sales. It's a unifying force that is actually thriving while the world around me is not. We had our best month advertising and our best month on our website in April. My website is growing, not failing, as is my brand, and my business is following suit. The digital world is not shutting down. It's thriving, and Drive for Five is thriving right now too. While in-person interaction is limited, my digital revenue is actually stimulated. We have trademarked our business, strengthened our expansion plans, and reached new communities during this tough time. COVID-19 won't stop us, and with your help, we can continue to grow into new markets.
Okay, and then in assuming normal times, why go to your site as opposed to StubHub or with last minute, which is, last minute ticket sites, which tend to be pretty cheap?
Sure. So my tickets are actually much cheaper than that. And I'm not supplying the StubHub, the TickPick, the SeatGeek. I'm not supplying that platform. What I'm supplying is the online and in-person connection where I am referring my followers to those platforms, to the Islanders ticket companies, to other markets ticket companies, and selling seats that wouldn't normally be sold. My tickets are much cheaper, and it's very profitable for me to do so. Fans using my tickets, they don't have to pay the referral fee. They don't have to pay the large fee that StubHub those costs. We are charging $5 for tickets because the teams come to me knowing we don't sell out those 400 upper bowl seats around the edge of the arena. We need David to do that, and we need him to bring in college students, younger markets that will then buy beer, that will then buy concessions, that will then buy merchandise, because it's a win-win. With Drive for Five, the fan wins with a more loyal in-person and online experience. Communities win because they're galvanized with my model. And the teams and franchises win, as I have shown across the Long Island market, because they're selling tickets they just wouldn't have normally sold.
Okay, thanks, David.
Cool.
Our
Thank
next
you.
competitor is, hold on one second. eSports Training Center, Benjamin Johnson, computer engineering, graduating in 2022. So Benjamin, just, you got it, share your screen, unmute yourself, and then you're ready to go.
All right, just give me 1 second, please. And I'll be ready to go. All right. When you hear the term gamer, the first thought in your head is probably this, or maybe even this. Oops, sorry about that. But now the term gamer is elevated far past those roots. Gamers are now professional athletes winning $50,000 in one tournament, competing in front of over 100 million fans, or even streaming and making over $400,000 a month from subscriptions alone. But how does one go from this to this? Well, that's where it gets a little complicated. You usually have to focus on just one game on one platform, study the meta or the popular techniques, communicate with other players to try and find a team, and practice for countless hours every day. And throughout this whole process, you must be extremely lucky to find a real team or gaming league. All these facts leave gamers unmotivated and confused. Currently, those who are wishing to make it to the professional level are struggling for a multitude of reasons. They don't know where to start, how to find local competitions, how to seek endorsements, or even why they are struggling in a game they have been playing for years. So what separates professional teams and players from a casual gamer? Why can't there be an easy program to elevate yourself from casual to a professional? That's where the eSports Training Center comes in. The first dedicated program that can train early gamers on how to improve their skills and help them reach the professional setting. Our team would be specialists who can help you reach competitive levels quickly with camps and private sessions we offer. The sessions we offer are intended to raise not only your skill level in games, but also teach the players current ways to generate revenue and help start your gaming career. We are developing programs that put you through simulations of technological problems that sometimes ruin focus, even at the professional level, and a dedicated players session to help you become a true professional, as well as a streaming workshop with professional and personal moderators to help those who want to become expert streamers. Our program will start focusing on the collegiate players, as that is a market we are very familiar with. And once we can prove our program works, we hope to expand the program to more colleges and schools around the nations. Our revenue structure is as follows. We generate profit on each practice we hold, every tournament we win, as well as every player we make self-sufficient. We have pulled the national averages of esports coaches that they're making, as well as our target market right here at Hofstra, and found that we can make $60 per session and hope to do 3 sessions a week with each of our attendees. We also will be taking a 10% cut from each tournament affiliated with us, as well as a 20% cut in all streaming revenues from any player who follows our streaming program. According to a Twitch published article, the average successful streamer makes around $20,000 in a year from subscriptions alone, and prize money averages anywhere from $1,000 to $100,000 for the popular tournaments. Our current market is university students right here at Hofstra, but our target market is much greater than that. We see our program as a way to help high school students and parents planning for their future, as well for scholarships in esports, as well as becoming much, much larger. It also provides a break to those parents who see their child gaming all day, but now can rest easy in knowing our program is actually helping them plan for their future to become successful. We are also currently working with 5 of my closest friends, who we hope can become our first professional team and give us a large social media presence and credibility. Luckily, these players all know each other well and have been friends for years, which helps in team-based games such as MOBAs. Our team consists of Cody Vandalis managing and training the training aspects of coaching, while I work on the market side as well as a successful streaming program for our members. I am also hoping and currently working with Alec Polsey to hopefully partner with Brookland for a physical training space to run the program out of when possible. In the Korean and Asian spheres, there have been so many athletes ready to compete that when a position opens up for streaming or a team, it is nearly instantly filled. America is recently blowing up with esports excitement, even during the pandemic, and slowly approaching the level that the rest of the world is. This is our chance to reach that level the rest of the world currently is at, and I hope you see the benefit of the Esports Training Center. I'm Benjamin Johnson, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, Ben. I would like to ask Mike Seaman if he has any questions.
Yeah, so I mean, I understand the basic concept of what you're trying to do. I think where my confusion comes into play and understanding in terms of what others are doing with their businesses is I'm unsure what makes your business unique from the standpoint of, do you have some unique skill set? I don't understand what's being trained. Can you kind of elaborate on what it is you guys are training? Is that unique to you guys in terms of some kind of algorithm you've created to identify strengths and weaknesses of players? I'm unsure, other than it's a school. I get that. I'm trying to understand what makes your school so unique and so special that people are going to come to you guys for that understanding.
Right, and sorry about that confusion. My program works with Cody Vandalis, who has been teaching at the college level for the past 3 years and brought his team to many championships already. He's also ranked in the top 500 players in the world for a game called League of Legends, which is very popular for tournaments. I was ranked as a new season just started. I am no longer ranked as a grandmaster in a game called Heroes of the Storm, also popular for tournaments. And what our program aims to do is via personal connections and training, elevate your gaming ability to reach that professional level, as well as connect you with those ways to get into tournaments, become a streamer, and get endorsements from other companies so that you can actually reach that competitive level. Right now, currently, the nation only really offers like private tutors, basically, that will come to your house and help your child, like teach you how to play a game, basically. Ours would be a program tailored to specific games or training camps and specific ways to make money, such as streaming. And I believe that hasn't really been done in the American nation at the moment, and that's what makes us unique.
Thank you, Ben. Thanks so much. Our next competitor is Hair Cosmetics. Sean Davenport, a public relations major, graduating this semester.
Hello. Do you see it? Awesome. Let me find Alec on my screen. All right. All right. Hi, my name is Sean Davenport, and I am the founder and CEO of Hair Cosmetics. And this is an adorable photo of a puppy and a kitty sleeping together. And we have a dog here that's just so happy to be alive, and probably the coolest cat that I've ever seen. But why am I showing you cute photos of animals? Because for every happy animal, there's an animal that's been abused. I'm sure we all have seen this commercial before. Animals of all kinds are abused every hour of every day. But one of the biggest abusers out there is the beauty industry itself. Animals of all kinds are being tested on for safety precautions against their wills, and it's truly a gruesome sight to see. And consumers agree with me on that. 80% of people are going to purposefully choose clean beauty over animal tested products. So what's the easy solution? Well, to create a clean beauty brand, of course. But that's been done over and over again, and there's quite a lot of competition. But now that's not even enough. Consumers want to shop with purpose. More than 3/4 of all consumers want a brand to have a social purpose. They want them to do something more than just to sell them a good or a service. So the best solution is to create a company that has purpose. A lot less brands have purpose-driven missions. And brands that have their missions going against all other brands to reverse the damage of their industry and to clean it up, virtually none. So we know that consumers want clean beauty products that are clean for themselves and from animal cruelty. And we know that consumers want a brand that has purpose. The more purpose, the better. Welcome to Hair Cosmetics. Hair Cosmetics exists to reverse the damage of the beauty industry, to work against the injustice that has been done and create a new meaning for clean beauty. Purpose-driven brands in different industries have been around for years and are reaching new heights every day. Tom's Shoes and Bombas have been giving back at their core values and are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. One Ocean Beauty has vowed to protect the ocean and in 1 year is valued at over $10 million. And Hair Cosmetics is driven to repair the damage of the beauty industry and will be valued at $45,000 after I win the competition. So what even is hair cosmetics? Well, we sell hair and skin cosmetics. We have lotions, oils, lip balms, scrubs, and hopefully much more soon. Now let's talk some money. In less than 1 year, I currently target friends and family. I have over 55 orders, over $1,600 in revenue with a $22 average order value. I average about 66% net profits and 75% of my customers are repeat customers. And who am I targeting? My ideal niche audience is 18 to 35-year-old females who are middle class and support social causes, are interested in animal welfare specifically, and have used and are interested in beauty products. So how big is this market? Currently, 57 million people in America want clean beauty with a social cause. If we focus that on our niche from above, we have about 22 million people in America. So I believe that in about 5 years, I can reach up to 5% of that market. And with the current revenue model, Hair Cosmetics will be able to make up to $122 million in net profit a year. So who's even in this market? Well, we have Annalisa, who is a young social activist. We have Tiana, who is a millennial and has a rescue pet of her own. And we even have Carrie, who may not be in our target market, but she still loves to support social causes and loves clean beauty products for her and her grandkids. Over the past few weeks, I've conducted over 20 hours of video interviews with my current customers. And I found that 90% of them love my products and 100% of them love the branding and the purpose of Hair Cosmetics. And they show that love and support online and offline, telling their friends and families about how much they love the products and the mission of Hair Cosmetics. Currently, my go-to market strategy includes social media referral programs and in-person events. I had a brunch and browse event in February that went out very well. I had events planned for April and May that are currently postponed. With the money from the competition, I'll be able to start targeted social media advertisements like awareness campaigns, and I'll be able to start doing partner programs with animal welfare groups, for instance, like with North Shore Animal League on Long Island. And who even am I? Well, I am Sean Davenport. I'm a graduating senior studying public relations, marketing, and media. I will become invested full-time in Hair Cosmetics after I graduate to make this company what I dream it can be of. And I think I speak for myself here. So if you remember just one thing from me today, just remember that the beauty industry is one of the biggest animal abusers out there, but it doesn't have to be anymore, because together we can help all animals from being abused to being loved, just like how Caroline loves her rescue dog buddy. Again, my name is Sean Davenport, and this is Hair Cosmetics. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sean. So now time for 1 minute of questions, and I'd like to ask Kara Longworth to ask a question.
Hi, great presentation. And as I'm sitting here, I've got my dog and my cat curled up at my feet. So I fully appreciate cosmetics that don't impact pets. Question, you the Bombas and Toms, for every pair of shoes, they give a pair of shoes, they give a pair of socks. So what's your plan to support your social mission?
Right. So currently, to repair the damage, we will be doing donations. A lot of brands out there right now will donate just one product. Most notably, Lush Cosmetics donates just from one product. We donate from the entire brand. So that way we already are going to do percentage-wise, we do more than what the competitors do. I also currently volunteer at organizations like the Animal North Shore League in Long Island, and will also be supporting employees under me to do paid volunteer trips, support missions within ourselves, and also put pressure on other companies to do the same, and also create awareness campaigns to show companies that aren't cruelty-free, wear our mission on our sleeves, and put pressure on legislations to start getting legislation within America and around the world as we grow.
So are you using that as part of your marketing campaign? Like for every dollar, we spend $1 on these causes? Or?
Yeah, so currently I advertise it's 10% of donations that we do. And then as we go further, different advertising campaigns will be like different supports. The partnership program, for example, with Animal League would be to put me in your email blast, which is 1.4 million wide. And then 100% of proceeds or 80% of proceeds will go to donate to the Animal League. So that'll be like our partner programs, and that'll be different campaigns that we'll run.
Thanks so much, Sean. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next up is Alec Marcus, Mecard, and I will time you, Alec. So just share your screen and put your unmute yourself.
Sure, thank you. Ready? How do you stay connected to the people you meet in everyday life? You need to give them your contact information. So you either hand them your little business card, or take a stranger's smartphone to manually type it in, or ask them to find you among the hundreds of millions of profiles on social media. What's amazing is we don't have the means to easily share ourselves and access communications in one place. Right now, the contacts listed on your devices are cluttered, inaccessible, impersonal, uninteresting, and honestly lost, because we can't organize people we meet to our advantage. Whether we're networking, socializing, or shopping, we're commonly unsuccessful staying in touch and building new kinds of relationships. Your solution will be found on the app in Google Store, where you'll download a mobile application called Mecard. You will create a personal account and your initial Mecard to connect in the environment you're most interested in. Then you'll add the communications, social apps, and profile that best matches your environment. In just a couple of minutes, you'll have your own version of this. And with some more time, you'll even have this. Now you have an impressive and efficient way of sharing yourself to new people. So when you're meeting in person, open Mecard on your smartphones and both of you click the Connect tab. Ask them to select a Mecard of theirs to share. So you can just scan a QR code off their smartphone to receive it. Next, select a Mecard of yours to send back to them, and finish the share with a personal message to highlight the start of a great new relationship. Many connections will also be made remotely, so click a user's link in an email or social profile, select a Mecard of yours to send, and add a message to complete the share request. All requests are conveniently stored in the Shares tab to always track your connections, and check out the Deck tab where you can easily search for and contact anyone you know. This application is ideally meant for smartphone users who are active on social media and other digital communications, because they engage with people virtually and in many different ways. This profiles entrepreneurs, working professionals, young adults, representatives of business, and university members like you all at Hofstra. The target users are college students, young adults, and business professionals because they most frequently meet new contacts, are most engaged with their smartphones, and are most interested in growing various networks. A prototype of the mobile app was developed and then tested by 30 students, advisors, and mentors. They created their own Mecards and enjoyed sharing them with one another at meetings and events, providing valuable feedback in the process. They appreciated having their contacts centralized and said they'd rely on the real version for making all their connections. The competitors shown produce inefficient and dull contact sharing methods. Social media like LinkedIn and Facebook contain our exciting segmented networks, but limit our ability to build personal relationships. This product makes it much easier to interact in an accessible, organized, personable manner. It complements social media as a connection tool and provides more features to retrieve value from our connections. In other words, Mecard will be the only app combining professional, social, and consumer networking distinctly. The product will enter the marketplace through mobile stores, then with a website, and lastly through Salesforce's App Exchange. It will be engineered through 4 stages and scale over the course of its development. The product will generate interest at Hofstra with private demonstration events, so you all can learn about and utilize the app to meet new people. The user base will grow through digital engagement, online networking, and public events. The app will achieve exponential growth because of community tools, brand promotions, and its role in everyday life. The minimum viable product is being developed with $1,000 seed funding. The complete app requires an additional $5,000 to engineer, plus cover development and marketing costs. These expenditures will go up at different rates as the product interface improves and user activity increases. People can enjoy most features for free, but may pay a $4.99 month subscription for premium services, which drastically improve the app for business and professional use. There's an array of features to receive recommendations from your network, streamline contacts from your other apps, and access everyone in a large event, and also place targeted user ads, of course. My development team, the Idea Hub, and myself are creating a tool that will advance connections. It's designed to help us all stay in touch and build relationships that are strong, organized, and valuable. The social butterflies of the world need this app, and once it's downloaded on your smartphone, just collect and connect. Thank you.
Thanks, Alec. And Kevin, do you have any questions?
Sorry, I had to unmute myself there. Hey, Alec, the value prop to me seemed initially to be the searchability aspects, but I didn't really grasp how you're going to differentiate yourself there. I mean, I get the need, you know, I got LinkedIn contacts, I got Outlook contacts, people text me, but how is this going to help solve my search problem?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a real problem because all of those apps and the tools you use, they're combining several different networks. It's very unorganized for you and not useful, so you can find the people you want to meet. So when you go to your deck tab all the way on the right here, you can search through 3 different types of Mecards: professional, social, and consumer. And those are the people that you want to have the relationships with in this certain formats. You can filter so that you can find people and organize them in many different ways to your advantage. You can sort them so that you can sort your contacts to better meet your needs in the moment. You can search anything you're looking for, whether it be a name, a keyword, a tag, even a location or a job, and it'll come up with every Mecard in your deck that contains that information. And there's just many different ways where you can search and easily find who you're looking for in a very segmented way. Right now, all of your contacts are unorganized. It's very impersonal because you have professional, social, and consumer contacts all in one place, and this makes it much easier to organize and then find exactly who you're looking for through a bunch of different searching tools that really segment and make your contacts distinct.
Thanks so much, Alec. So next we have Mycelium Mile Rowan Tour, an entrepreneurship major graduating in 2022. So Rowan, share your screen and unmute yourself.
Awesome. You can hear me fine?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. All right, let me just get this up. And Alec, are you ready? Awesome. So, hello, my name is Rowan Tor, and I'm the founder of Mycelium Mile. In the United States, the EPA estimates that there are over 500,000 brownfields, not including Superfund or RCRI sites. A brownfield is a property, the expansion, redevelopment, or reuse of which may be complicated by the presence of a hazardous substance, pollutant, or contaminant. This cause of pollution to groundwater and plants leads to huge health risks for local communities and ecosystems. I would like to introduce to you a man named Paul Stamets, who's an American entrepreneur and one of the world's leading mycologists who's heavily involved in using mushroom extracts to save bee populations, which are on the decline in the world due to pesticide use. And he's a big proponent of my business concept. Mycoremediation is the use of fungi to degrade or remove toxins from the environment. Scientific literature proves that this is a purpose of nature to remove or break down toxins from their environment. I want to help out making nature, which will ultimately help out ourselves and the well over 1.7 million other animal species around the world, a more profitable and advantageous part of our economy. Some of the costs to my customer will be the cost of my labor, which will be 0.5 times the cost of operation, the $350 to $400 soil test, which will be done about 2 to 3 times per site, the cost of transportation, and the $125 per new culture spawn. This will be about roughly a few $1,000s per customer per cleanup. So mycoremediation is easily the cheapest, costing around $50 per ton in comparison to other methods of remediation like incineration, which are just very expensive and oftentimes inefficient. The way this is done is by using a waste product called a substrate like sawdust, wood chips, cardboard, spent mushroom soil, wood scraps, or even spent coffee beans, in which straw is really the only one that I'm sure I cannot get for free as an inoculant for mushroom spores. Once you get the substrate, you'll get something like this, which is cardboard inoculated with oyster mushroom mycelium, which can be used to clean up petroleum. The goal of Mycelium Mile is to work directly with nature in her intended way to reclaim pieces of land we have lost to pollution by speeding up the process of inoculation or inoculating the polluted soil with specific mushroom species that will rebuild the mycelium network and use pollutants as nutrients and bring back ecological order to the area. An example of this being done is from the man I talked about earlier, Paul Stamets, who was tasked along with 5 other environmental cleanup companies to clean up petroleum out of piles of soil from a brownfield. After 6 weeks, Paul Stamets' pile was the only pile that was no longer blackened with petroleum, and amazingly, that pile started to attract bugs and animals, which then brought seeds with them and made that pile an oasis of life. So I actually have this amazing opportunity through an organic culinary mushroom grower who's part of the conservation committee in the town of Westford, Massachusetts. I have been tasked with coming up with a comprehensive plan on how I am to clean up the sulfuric acid, nitric acid, and hydrochloric acid out of 12 North Main Street. And then I'll be able to present this to the Board of Selectmen for the town who've been sitting on this land for the past 8 years. With over 500,000 brownfields across the nation, and each really only costing about a few $1,000s per cleanup, Mycelium Mile sees potentially thousands of sites to clean up at the lowest cost to the customer. Mycoremediation is a new and emerging science, so once it is seen as a viable solution, the scalability for fungi's usefulness becomes exponentially more important towards a sustainable future. Our current customers will be local governments, private companies, and citizens who will hire us as a service, and we'll be making specific arrangement on costs. I'm a one-man army, so the costs for myself are not very high, but I'm excited to have others join me in my mission to promote fungi solutions for a multitude of problems in our society, and eventually bringing this commitment to the federal level. Together, and only together, will we be able to maintain a sustainable future for future generations to come. So together, we should listen more to nature, because we are ultimately part of the whole system. Without the system, we are nothing. Mycelium Mile pledges itself to use the waste of current industry to reclaim the neglect and exploitation of past industry while encouraging more sustainable future industry. We pledge ourselves to the beauty of life. Thank you.
Thanks, Rowan. Kevin, do you have any questions?
Sure. Yeah, the challenge I have is like you're trying to do it by yourself. Have you thought about trying to sell the concept or product to like oil companies underneath pipelines or something like that, as opposed to attempt the full remediation on your own? Because I think it'd be challenging to win that type of business, just given you know, kind of insurance requirements and the like to win government, because they're mostly government contracts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how would you really sell the product?
Well, and I would look at what each brownfield that a town has and look at specifically what is polluting that soil. And I would come to them with specific fungi species that will be able to break down or remove those toxins out of the environment. And the actual process of inoculation, I can easily do this myself. It just requires that I have a bunch of buckets full of waste products that are just kind of moist with some spores in them that actually inoculate into these mycelium networks. And I just spread that across the land. I can do that myself very easily. Once I do that, it's up to nature at that point. I'm working directly with nature to reclaim land. Once I spread out the inoculant across the land, it's nature's job from there. And I'm there just to check up and make sure that it is actually doing the job that it's doing.
Okay, thank you, Rowan. So now we have Sweet Sweat, Connie Anderson Castilla, Film Studies and Production, May 2020. And I'd like to also mention that one of our judges, Bob Hussey, joined us. Thanks, Bob. I read your bio to everyone at the beginning.
Thank you.
We're doing 1 minute of questions, so I'll ask you to ask the next question, okay?
Great.
After Connie pitches. So Connie, please share your screen and unmute yourself.
Stacy, you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Sorry, I couldn't share and unmute me at the same time. Okay, now I'm gonna share. All right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, a plane and time represents an opportunity to grow nail fungus. Because what happens when you keep your shoes on for a long period of time? Your feet sweat inside your shoes, creating a moist environment, which is ideal for nail fungus. It only takes some hours, but the treatment takes months. And I know because, unfortunately, I was part of this story. So shoes plus hours plus sweats equals fungus. But what's the solution that can potentially save your vacation? Sweet sweat. The sweet sweats are chamomile shoe inserts made of blotting paper that is extra absorbent made of rice and cotton, and that contains chamomile. Chamomile is antibacterial, antifungal, and aromatic. This insert will be made with layers of the blotting paper containing the chamomile in cells. The paper will absorb the sweat, while the chamomile will prevent the formation of the bacteria. And this insert will be disposable, so for only one use. Our two competitors are Cooper compression socks and antifungal powder. A survey I did revealed that people aged from 18 to 30 don't use compression socks. One, because they associate with elder generations, and some people use flats, like I use. And the fungus powder, it's not very practical, especially at airports when you have to take your shoes at first to pass through security. So our inserts will be practical, invisible, and adaptable. Our market are the millions of passengers that fly or ride trains every year. We'll start selling at airport stores and $6 for each pair. Manufacture $3 and profit $3. We'll also partner with airlines and Amtrak to offer it maybe for first class or as the comfort kit that they often have. And Also, our second survey we did revealed that our customers are people who travel very often, who experience extra sweating, flight or ride a train more than 5 hours, and they like it to be disposable. They also said that they spend between $6 to $10 or more at airport stores, so that matches our price, and they like it to be organic. Some people said that it reminds them the inserts that ballerinas use for pointy shoes, which made me realize that there might be a second target market using the same design, because sweat plus tights plus pointy shoes equals blisters. And the good thing about chamomile is that it's anti-inflammatory, so it's good for healing those blisters. And I thought that maybe using the same design of the blotting paper and the chamomile to target to a second market, which are ballet dancers. And I know that this could be beneficial because I spent 12 years being a ballet dancer and using pointy shoes. So our strategy is to get the design pattern of the blotting paper and chamomile, partnered with a manufacturer to develop the prototypes, market first through social media, and especially for the dance venue, we'll publish at dance magazines like Frontier magazines that have thousands of followers and approach dance studios. And our distribution will be through Amazon first, and for the travel venue, it will go through the airport stores and contract with airlines. So yeah, that's it said. I'm Connie Anderson Casilla. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie. Bob, we have 1 minute of Q&A, so let us know what questions you have.
Okay, Connie, real quickly, what's the competitive landscape for a product like a chamomile insert? Do you have any? Is there any known competition?
No, that I know. Yeah, there are no other inserts or other products that use chamomile or the blood together.
Okay, and real quickly, is there any research that you can demonstrate that the efficacy of the product? Because most people are going to say, "How do I know it works?"
Yeah, so I've done some testing, and I will definitely I've done the design, I've done some testing, but I'll definitely move forward with when we manufacture the prototypes to do the testing to verify that it actually works. But yeah, the blotting paper in itself, it's extra absorbent because it's used to absorb ink or other type of.
It would be really good in your presentation if you could point that out, the efficacy of the product. People will buy things that they know there's proven research behind its efficacy. And it might even be good at some point to find some type of celebrity that is an endorser that people can identify right away. The person's face is on the package and they pick it up right away and they read about it, and then they can see you've tested it with any renowned testing lab or consumer organization. The other thing I needed to know, the profitability. How many, in terms of profitability, you want to know how you're going to sell the units or what number you're expecting to sell of units, and then what's the support for that sales estimate, and then what's the profitability. You said you're going to retail it for 6, but we don't really know from your presentation what the cost of goods is and what the margin of profitability is. That would be very important to know also. And it seemed you focused only on the transportation market, correct, right now?
Yeah, so my initial idea when I started this product was the transportation market, because that's what I experienced, but also I'm going to expand the design. So using the same design to the dance market. Because
what jumps into my mind is it would be great if you had kind of a multi-channel or multi-targeted audience for it. And what jumps into my mind when you talked about sweaty feet and infection, what comes to mind right away is nursing homes. People are in beds, or they're in lounges, or they're in wheelchairs, and they're not able to take their shoes off or their socks off by themselves, perhaps. So they might get sweaty feet and have sweaty feet for 8 hours. Sometimes those nursing home residents are unattended, unfortunately. So you might want to think about multiple markets when you present.
Thank you so much for that feedback, Bob. That was great. Connie, great job. So let's move on to the next competitor is Snickering Dog, Alexandra Vidal, speech language pathology, graduating in 2021. And you can share your screen and unmute yourself. And Kara, you'll be asking the question, okay? So as soon as they're done, you could just ask your question.
Thank you. Ready, Alec? Can't actually see. Okay.
Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Alex Vidal, and I'm here today with my partner, Antonio Parra. We are here today to present our company, Snickering Dog. If anyone here has a special dog in their life, then you know that bulls are either your best friend or worst enemy. While we were raising Louis, our Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, his ears got in everything. The more he grew, the more ear infections he got. Why were we going to the vet every month? Was it his genetics? Was it his food? Nope. It was his ears dipping into the water. As you can see, his muzzle hasn't even hit the water yet, and his ears are a good dip in. As many as 20% of dogs in the US have some sort of ear infections, floppy ears being more prone. A dog's ear is much more vertical than that of a human's, being L-shaped, which holds in fluids. The moisture from the wet ear provides a perfect breeding ground for bacteria and yeast, making it the #1 reason for ear infections. These infections can lead to deafness, facial paralysis, and even vestibular signs such as loss of balance, head tilting, and disorientation. Our solution is this bowl, the Snickering Dog. We used 3 or 4 grade stainless steel with a B2 finish, ensuring no crevices of metal for bacteria to form into. There are 2 rubber rings on the bottom to avoid slipping and tilting of the bowl. The shape is specifically designed to guarantee ears out of the water with a small opening and the ballooning bottom. Each opening size was measured using real breed muzzles to certify that only the muzzle and tongue go in, with ears staying out. The enlarged bottom allows more food and water to be stored throughout the day. Using estimates, if bought in bulk, we could receive these numbers here for the material and labor cost per bowl. Shipping has a flat rate with USPS first class packaging and 3-day business shipping with tracking included for extra safety measures. We decided to price it competitively to attract customers with a profit margin still significant enough. Our current revenue model for the business is the transactional model. We'll use Amazon to help sell our product using professional seller in order to create a section in the market for our bowl while still being able to personally connect with consumers. Once we're invited to be part of Seller Central, we'll store our products in Amazon warehouses, allowing us to be part of Amazon Prime. We'll be employing tactics from the affiliate model by partnering with affiliates on Instagram, Facebook, and pet blogs to help sell our products. And we'll also be using an ad-based model using Google AdSense that will target our market for us over the internet. But you might be thinking, the market for this bowl is way too small. But in reality, these bowls are perfect for any dog. Bloating occurs when dogs ingest food or water too quickly, swallowing air into their stomachs. And this is the second leading cause of death behind cancer. Choking and vomiting is also resolved with this bowl due to the small opening, allowing dogs to take smaller and slower mouthfuls. With an average of 70 million dogs in US households and 470 million dogs in worldwide households, the market for pet products is enormous. An estimated global pet care industry sale of $203 billion by 2025 provides security that this product is not only wanted, but needed. Americans alone spent $95.7 billion on pet products in 2019. To see if this bowl was really as needed as we thought, we started an Instagram account for Louis and created a community with similar dogs. In only a couple of weeks, Louis had a small following and enough owners who agreed that they needed a serious solution. When presented with the bowl, a majority of the community answered that they'd be interested in buying this bowl or had a need for a product like this. The highest rated dog bowls for long ears are presented here. Each bowl presents a serious flaw though, starting with the materials being used. Ceramics, plastics, and brushed stainless steel are prone to harbor bacteria and less visible cracks and contain harmful chemicals. Many of these bowls don't have a rubber bottom to prevent slipping either. Even the highest rated bowls don't address every facet of the problem. Our marketing is simple. Our pricing is competitive. Our product follows the differentiation strategy. Social media will cover pet blogs, influencers, and even Louis' page to market the product. We'll advertise through Google AdSense, and customers will love the product so much that we'll gain word of mouth promotion. Our distribution model is also simple. We have it made at the manufacturer, we'll have it either shipped to us or to Amazon warehouses, and it will reach the customers through various websites. The bowl hasn't been reinvented in years, and with our furry friends being more than just a pet now, we need to treat them as the family they are. Thank you.
Okay, I had to bring Theo here to help ask my question. I have a floppy dog with floppy ears, so he will appreciate the bowl very much. I thought your presentation was great, obviously very well thought out.
Thank you.
So where are you right now? Have you, do you have a manufacturer, or are you just a prototype?
Right, so with everything going on, Fortunately and unfortunately, we haven't been able to contact these metal manufacturers for good reason. They're focusing more on medical products right now, and they're not wanting to take like product ideas right now, but it's totally understandable. But we do have a couple lined up. They said they'd be interested once everything kind of dies down. So we do have like, I think 5 lined up right now. Mm-hmm. So whenever they have a product to keep going, we'll start working with them right as we can. But yeah, we've been working with a product designer. So we use like cups and different size like bowls and stuff to measure the muzzles out. And I'm sorry?
And we have a patent.
And we have, we're working on getting a design patent as well.
Great. Well, good job.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Great, thank you. So we are up to our last competitor, Totally Tubular Tats, Michaela Farrell, Criminology and Global Studies, graduating this spring. And Mike Seaman will ask the question. So Michaela, if you want to unmute yourself and share your screen, and good luck.
Hi, everyone. All right, everyone can see a blank white image. Good to go. Okay. All right, Alec. My name's Michaela Farrell, and I'm the creator of Totally Tubular Tats. I'd like you to meet my younger siblings. That's Callan, he's 8 years old, and this is Charlotte, she's 6 years old. They both have a rare type of lung disease, which requires them to wear oxygen 24/7. They also aspirate when they drink liquids, which is why they both have feeding tubes. For those of you that aren't familiar, this is what a feeding tube can look like, although there are a couple different types. This has caused a lot of insecurity and anxiety for my siblings, so I wanted to give them something that made them feel like they wanted to show it off rather than be shy or embarrassed about it, and that's where the idea was born. We use temporary tattoos to transform feeding tubes into something fun and imaginative to promote self-confidence and body positivity. About 500,000 people in the US alone rely on feeding tubes, a number that's expected to grow with over 300 conditions that can require feeding tubes. North America is the largest consumption place in the feeding tube market, with a market share of 34% in 2017. Europe's the second biggest consumption place with a market share of 28%. The global feeding tube market was valued at $630 million in 2018 and is expected to reach over $1 billion by the end of 2025. If 20% of our US market alone is buying 2 tattoos for a month, that's over 2 million tattoos sold. Right now, I'm in the process of producing them at home for about 22 cents a piece, but after contacting mass printers, we're hoping to bring that down to 1 or 2 cents. Each tattoo lasts 5 to 7 days, so one could easily use 2 to 3 a month. With over 30 design choices, there are plenty of options. Right now, in home, I had them priced at $3 to absolve my printing costs and upfront investments, and the feedback that I'd gotten from support groups on Facebook were approving of this $3 ticket price and eager to purchase. Even if we focused on bulk sales, let's say at $1 each, after printing costs, that's over $2,350,000 profit with a huge margin and market share. Due to the slim and lightweight nature of the tattoos, we are able to use extremely minimal and sustainable packaging that can be easily covered by the customer post-sale. Just like traditional temporary tattoos, the part which touches the skin is sealed during the printing process, so sterilization isn't necessary. T-Cubed is completely unique and like no other product. And unlike the only other tube accessory option out there, tube pads, we are more affordable and our designs are unparalleled. Our biggest market's the strong knit community of medical moms, and word of mouth advertising is very strong in these types of communities, which is actually where I have the most professional experience. In 2017, I started with a company called Vector Marketing, where I was able to move my way up from sales rep to AM and then branch manager. I successfully ran my own office in Utica in 2018, and my career sales is over 50K, and that's entirely word of mouth created sales. I'd say on average, a medical mom is in contact with anywhere from 5 to 5,000 other moms a month. So if we start the first month with only 20 sales, 5 tattoos, and then each of those customers will call them moms, recommends 5 more moms, and so on. Only 2 out of 5 of them have to buy for us to have 100% growth each month. That would create over $400,000 in profit for that first year. If half of our customers got 2 more tattoos every month after the first purchase, like a subscription, it would up the total to over $481,000. We've got a moderate following on social media and a good base of people that have expressed interest. Our email list already has enough subscribers to fulfill our goal of 20 sales in the first month. At this point, in order to succeed, we need advertisements, partners, and brand ambassadors. Second to kids and their moms, there's a large teen and young adult market with a heavy social media presence. I plan to partner with them to help spread the word. My mom is a member of the Parent Advisory Board at BCH. Once we've established our base and COVID settles, I plan to work with hospitals like theirs, GI doctors, retail, and medical supply stores on a wholesale level. I myself have designed and created or assisted in graphically creating every tattoo. I need an in-house graphic designer to bring my ideas to life. Then we can expand the designs, better reach our teen and adult audience, offer personalization, and create a website. After the first year, I'd like to have gotten costs down, partnered with organic influencers, and acquired dozens of contacts for partners programs. With your investment, we can build an inventory, develop our network, and long-term, I'd like to expand the brand to include more products and toys for disability inclusivity. The customer knows best, and luckily I've got 3 expert consultants by my side. I'm Michaela Farrell, and that's Totally Tubular Tats.
Thank you, Michaela. Mike, you have any questions?
Tough to ask questions when you had a pretty awesome presentation. You touched on a lot of things, so really good job. Well done on the presentation for sure. I guess my 2 main questions would be, one is, have you sold any? It sounds like you might have, or you might have started that, I'm not sure. And the second would be with designs and using designs that might cross Disney and other places like that. Have you thought about reaching out and maybe getting them to sponsor or give you free ability or free reign to use some of their characters and things like that?
Yeah, so as far as designs go, I have looked into it, and if you are creating your own design, so if you're not, say, directly taking a picture off of Google of Mickey Mouse, you're artistically creating your own design, then you have rights to it and it doesn't cause any problems legally. As far as sales, I haven't actually launched the shop yet. I'm due to graduate next month, so I was waiting for graduation so that I could give all my focus to the business. I have started production and given out a couple to family and friends just to test and as a prototype for sizing and things like that, but haven't actually started sales.
Great. Well, thank you, Michaela. Congratulations to all the competitors today. You guys worked so hard and it really showed. So right now, the judges are going to leave this Zoom and go into another Zoom for deliberation. Our entrepreneurs in residence are going to give feedback. We're running a little behind schedule, so I hope to be back here within 15 minutes around 1 o'clock for results, okay? So we'll see you in a little bit, and Sharon will moderate the feedback session. So see you soon.
See you soon. Thank you. All right, so Erin, you're going to be up first. We're going in alphabetical order through our EIRs. So if you could please provide some feedback to the competitors, I'd appreciate it.
Sounds good. Are we going to should I go through all the feedback, or are we going to do each team and then the EIRs and then keep on spinning around?
If you can go briefly through all the companies, I think that'll be the easiest to
Perfect.
coordinate.
Sounds great. Cool. Just an intro, right? My name is Aaron Foss. I'm an entrepreneur in residence at Hofstra. I'm also the incubator coordinator. I'm on my fifth startup right now. It's No More Robo. So I come to this helping out entrepreneurs, like most of the other entrepreneurs, is being in the trenches. So I'll give some feedback on both the presentations, the businesses, and things like that. And I'll try and keep it quick. More than happy to sit down with every single person here. I also like the fact that it's a group, so everybody can kind of hear what all of the EIRs think, and we can all kind of, entrepreneurship is learning and teaching all at the same time. So starting with A brand, Desiree. Full disclosure, I worked with her pretty closely putting together the presentation, so I am very familiar with what she's working on. I thought you did a great job over there. For some reason, we always have shoe companies that start, a lot of students want to start shoe companies. I don't know why, but it just seems to be a common kind of thing. So it's nice to see that you're in that same model. A few of the slides, you were still having a little bit too much information jammed into it. Again, like if you saw some of the other presentations in general, one topic per slide, kind of keep on moving on there. I thought it was a little bit light on the financials of tooling up an entire shoe company, but absolutely demonstrated the problem very well, the solution right over there. Number two with Banter with Tyler and Nick, right? The biggest thing, so presentation looked great. Can tell you spent a lot of time there. The main thing was that you didn't explain what Ethereum was. In about 60% of the way through, all of a sudden, boom, you mentioned this thing called Ethereum. I happen to know what it is. I talked to you guys again, blockchain, everything, but that kind of came out of nowhere. And you always have to level set, assume that nobody understands anything. Not that you need to go into a 10-minute dissertation on blockchain and Satoshi's thing and this, that, and the other thing, but explain, here's a cryptocurrency. It's like tokens or something, from an arcade or something like that. That kind of came out of nowhere. So that was a little bit confusing, where we're earning this thing, and that's where I think a little bit of a disconnection. My number one thing also, your email address is fantastic. It was ready, set, at, go. I thought that was very clever. It was not lost on me. So I thought that was great. Next one was Drive for Five. We got David. Now again, full disclosure, we've worked together at the Idea Hub, so I know some of the background, and I think that you really buried the lead, right? I know that you have like that slide where you're like, yes, that's me on the Jumbotron right there. That should have been your opening slide. Get everybody's attention. It's like, yeah, that's me. You know why? Because I'm running this project. This is what we've been able to accomplish. I think if it moved earlier, it would have been super exciting. Everybody's, wow. You kind of like built up to it, and I think that you just started there and then kept that energy level going there. Your sales slide I thought was phenomenal, and just like what Peter said, my biggest question is, what do you do now with COVID and coronavirus, right? Elephant in the room. Absolutely should have handled it in that slide. I would have actually put a COVID slide. And even when you did your Q&A, you came off like a politician, right? You had that answer in the can, and then you just recited it. It came off a little bit disingenuous. You should have put a slide in there, come out ahead. Here's what we're going to do because of COVID. And also, I thought it got a little bit muddled on kind of what you do. I think that was the question. Like, is it discounts? Is it the unused tickets? Is that I would have liked to see a little bit more background on what that was before you got in there. Next up, we got Ben with eSports training, and same deal like with the question. I'm still not exactly sure what your offering is. And again, we've worked together and we've tried to, is it camp? Is it the onsite? Is it the clients? Is it those pieces? And because of that, I think that the whole presentation was a little bit like, I knew what it was. Whenever I watch these things, I kind of try and, hit reset on my brain and go in fresh. And I had a little bit of, you were over here, you were over there, a little bit of a tough time figuring out what you did. Hair cosmetics, right? We got Sean, again, looks amazing. And what I thought was really good, you could tell that you and your team have a great aesthetic eye, and you have to, right? If you're talking about cosmetics, it has to be spot on. With No More Robo, we're telecom. We don't have to look pretty. We just have to have a lot of technology. But there was no demo, right? I didn't see any of the cosmetics. I didn't see it on people. I didn't see like that. I would have loved to see that. You mentioned that you have sales, so you obviously must be manufacturing. How, where, is it in your kitchen? Is it with a co-packer? I thought that was a little bit
lacking. I would have loved to see it. Obviously, your sales are showing it, so lean into that and at least show us there. You kind of jumped to the $22 million net number kind of out of the blue. A couple of other of the competitors also do that in the market. You know, we sometimes call that Chinese math, where it's like I get 1% of the Chinese market, right? And yeah, if my grandmother had wheels, she'd be a bicycle, right? How did you get there? And that was actually that thing, right? Like go to market. How are you going to get from nothing to something? And in cosmetics, it is a super competitive thing, but the margins are absolutely huge, right? It's probably, you probably make more money in cosmetics than you do selling crack. Not that I would know on either one of those, but Alec with Mecard, right? I've seen this concept a bunch also. There was one here on Long Island called Here Matt. This networking kind of idea pops up all the time. And the thing that always sinks it is the ease of, it's the cold start problem. And this happens again with some of the other competitors. How are you gonna, even if I use it, in order, I could give you a card, the receiving person has to then download the app and do all that. And in general, when you're in a networking kind of event, it's a little bit difficult to get that up there. And I know that like LinkedIn is having some real good experience with their QR code. So with yours, I would really just, how can you get your go-to-market strategy? How can you get it that somebody can effectively hold up this QR code, a picture of it with the phone? Maybe it just goes to you know, it opens up a web page where it shows, and then there's a big, it's like get the app here. The main flaw with your the presentation is really nice, and how you spec things out, and the prototypes and things. I thought that was great, even though you don't have the app, you just screenshotted it. Fantastic. But show how are you going to get people to start using it without having to download that app first. Next, Mycelium Mile. Rowan, again, full disclosure, we work together. I am fascinated by this concept. When we started working together, I got really into researching mycology and things, and Paul Stamets and Michael Pollan and whatever. And I think that this whole thing, if you are passionate about it, it seems really cool. It's like, wow, that's so. I think that yours were, your presentation was the most intriguing to me. In like, I wanted to know more about it, but at the same point, then that's also where I didn't see any kind of proof that you had done, right? That oil example that Paul Stamets had, right? That should be the lead off. Hey, here's a thing of oil. And again, even the podcast that I've listened to, the interviews that I've listened to with him, here's this giant thing, even whatever the oil spill was, they put down the mycelium. This is what we're here. That got buried a little bit. If you really, so Long Island has like the Grumman plume that everybody talks about. Since this is being pitched to a Long Island audience, Long Island investors and things, maybe lead off with that. Like, here's that plume. And I think that we can kind of do that over there. So, oh, also your intro would have been more boring if you tried, right? Dictionary, like it was Webster's defines, you know, whatever. Like it wasn't exactly that, but like getting sexier with it's an opportunity, and even the bees, right? Like I thought that was a fantastic. Paul, bees are being destroyed. You bring in the mushrooms, and boom, they're back. And again, listening to him, he's really passionate about. I would absolutely have led off with that. But again, I think that you're, not that I'm a judge here, but it seems like for the fungi bioremediation things, you probably have potential for literally earth changing and the biggest amount of money that can be earned. We had Sweet Sweat from Connie, and this is another thing. I don't know what it was between fungus and shoes, right? 33% of all of the entries today were about either fungus or shoes. But so you did a great job on the coming up, finding a problem. My question would just be, just like the Q&A that you had, is the travel market too difficult? Is it too niche, right? And it's also real, and Chris Lapinto could speak more to this. He's in the travel industry. I had a startup that was also in the travel industry. It's incredibly difficult to find travelers. You can't really target them with AdWords. It's almost like they're kind of always moving. So I think that was going to be a little bit difficult on there. And our last two, Snickering Dog. I cannot say enough great things about the presentation, right? An amazing first slide, 2 pictures. We are in your world on dogs, like wet dog ears. I do not have dogs. I don't have anything that lives here, right? Dogs, cats. I personally don't and it's very controversial. I'm not really a big dog fan, but I was instantly from that first slide brought into your world, and then you kept on amping it up. The second slide, where it's like, okay, so dogs get their ears wet, who cares? Then you're like, no, then they get ear infections, and then you had the technical stuff. Bam. The third thing, you start going in with the technical specs on the stainless steel and the 304, and the like. Each one of those just started amping it up, where it's like, you really made me feel that you know your stuff hard. Then you get into your cost. You're using, when you talk about distribution on AWS or Amazon, right? You gave me the confidence when I'm watching. I'm like, these people know exactly what they are talking about. I love how you had the prototype. I was like, wow, that looks really slick. Later on in the presentation, when you do the customer feedback and somebody's like, that looks like a piece of artwork, I want that on my kitchen floor, right? That also gives you your design and direction, right? It just seems cleaner to me also. Again, like I've been over people's houses where then you're like walking around without your shoes on, you step in the water, it's just disgusting, right? It seems to me like your product would really help there. The number one thing, my question is, does Alex speak? Alex, the person, right? Like this entire presentation, just sitting back there, and literally you had one thing to say, which was with patent, right? I would have liked to see a little bit more of the team, or just have one person up there just talking and knowing, but super, super strong. And finally, number 10, totally tubular tats. Blown away. I've never seen a presentation like that with the animation, and incredible, absolutely incredible. Like, again, it was a way to then just, it wasn't a click through a slide. You did a little bit of Chinese math, right? If we got 20% and this and this and this, that was a little bit weak, but I absolutely love this concept. I worked with another student when I was over at Malloy. Look up, it's a IV Hero. And what that was it was a simple paper sleeve that went over an IV bag. So for kids that had cancer, instead of getting the scary infusion of who knows what, and it used to freak them out and everything, now they were getting superhero powers. So by taking something as simple as a temporary tattoo and turning it into I'm not even saying medical device, it's like a kid, it's almost like a kid mental hygiene thing. I cannot be more excited about your product. Again, I've worked with things in the past. This is absolutely something you have to pursue. My big question here is we'll call it the health and safety. And it seemed, I would have liked to see you dig into it a little bit. I don't know anything about the feeding tube area. It seemed like you need to clean it up or something like that. I would have just liked it. I don't know what it is. Just reassure me that it's perfectly fine to put it on. Mike's question also about like the design and licensing and things. I've been there, totally agree with it. At first, just do generic, right? Even had a superhero there, get stock stock vectors, do all that. But then when it's easier to sell apples from a full cart, right? Once you have these things that are shipping, then you go to Disney, then you go to DreamWorks, then you want to get the Pokemon, then you want to get the all the other ones that you have. But you have to do all those other pieces. Second, do not pay for advertising. I know in one of those things, that's one of the things you're going to be doing. You said you have your email list, how you started. That's amazing. It's what we always tell people, build an audience first. And it seems like you have that. And it seems like this group of people is all connected. And the only other piece that I would say on your business side is do not sell one at a time as an individual. You must sell these in multi-packs. Minimum, we're talking 5, 10, 20, 25 or something like that. First off, the economic, I don't, what will the economics work out to be? I don't exactly know, but I love the fact that it's lightweight. It's relatively inexpensive. Again, selling one and popping it in an envelope, for 50 cents, get eaten alive, credit card fees and shipping and things like that. But if you can go do, again, a 5, a 10, a 20, also, I'm going to say, like, don't make them very durable, right? Maybe they can only last for a couple of days. Maybe they only last for a week, or maybe because kids want to change them more often and you get new limited releases and things, you want to have a consumable, disposable product that people have to keep on buying, because it's way easier to sell product to your current customers than to keep on getting new ones. So again, the only thing on your presentation, just like I'm boom, 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 way too fast here, is I think you should have just slowed down your presentation just a little bit. It was an artistic masterpiece to watch all those animations. And I want to watch, I'm going to go back and watch the live stream again because it was amazing. Even when you said with the tube and the syringe that went in and filled up the earth, the United States, that whole thing, I just wanted to watch it, and it went by really, really fast. So if anything, I would have taken a little bit out, slowed it down, and really gotten us involved with it. You are solving an amazing problem for an amazing group of people. And to if what we're talking about with all the other competitors, your COVID slide says itself. Nobody's leaving. Who's more vulnerable than kids, or in a hospital? This is absolutely can't go play with their friends anymore. You need ways to go and amuse them. That's what I got. All 10 of you guys did amazing jobs.
Thanks so much, Aaron. Now we'd love to hear from Barbara Roberts with feedback for our competitors.
Hi, Sharon. As you know, I had some difficulty with Zoom today and what my role was. I actually did not realize that this is what I was doing. I thought I was just keeping notes to chime in the judging room. So just going through, I think all of you did a phenomenal job. I feel like I've had some contact with each of you, and I think it actually was the best group of presentations that I have ever heard at Hofstra. So well done, bravo. Just to quickly go through a couple of thoughts as I listened to each of you. And I actually did not keep careful notes of the names of your company, so I apologize for that. So I know Desiree was first, A-Brand actually. And I guess my biggest concern was that there wasn't enough on how you were going to manufacture and develop the shoe. I've been working with entrepreneurs, and as Aaron said, there's always a shoe startup, and I've learned along the way that really taking the time to learn about the programs that are really geared to shoes and shoe manufacture is a good thing to do. So I think great presentation. You certainly showed what your unique problem that you wanted to solve, but I think it would have been strengthened with a little bit more of convincing us that you knew exactly how you were going to manufacture and had more of those details out. Banter, I do agree with Aaron that Ethereum was just sort of dropped in there. I do know that you, from working with you guys, that you really know what you're doing, but I think when you were presenting to the judges a little bit more on explaining that connection and even what Ethereum was would have been helpful there. David, on Drive for 5, as we all know, you've done an incredible job of launching a business. Why, I think you're a sophomore or junior here at Hofstra. One thing that I would just mention is you use the word I too much. You really should be using the word we, even if it is yourself. I think I think perhaps the judges are going to get an impression that this is not scalable, that this is just you alone, and that your presentation probably would have been strengthened by using the word we and implying that you would create jobs. When you're doing a contest like this, the judges, particularly in this environment, are definitely looking to that you are scalable, and scalability is not just revenue. Scalability, particularly as we come out of the COVID crisis, people are going to be looking for businesses that create jobs. So that would be something that I think would have strengthened you. Then on eSports, I remember our first meeting, and I wasn't too clear what you were going to be up to. I thought that was a really good presentation. But I would suggest that even the question that you to give more background information about you and your partner would have been extremely helpful. Am I supposed to stop chatting now? Or are we about to announce things? Sharon, tell me what.
Thanks, Barbara. Yeah, so we're ready for the announcement. Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, President Rabinowitz. We have a very special guest who is going to introduce our winners.
Is that me?
Yes, that's you. Thank you so much for joining us. And I also want to thank you for your vision for creating the center and for your leadership and allowing us to have this competition virtually and giving our students this opportunity today.
It's my pleasure to be here. I do feel like the Wizard of Oz in a way, popping up at the last minute after it's all over. And by the way, whoever the student is showing me up by wearing a shirt and tie, I'll remember your name. But in any event, this is the first time in 18 and a half, almost 19 years that I've ever come to a Hofstra event, not in a suit and tie. But I'm home working on Zoom, and we are literally working more hours every day remotely than we have even in the office. And unfortunately, there's no distractions for me except my cat. So it's a long day, but I did not want to miss this opportunity. And basically, I wanted to thank everybody first. I know you all want to know the winners as I announce them, and I will. But I want to thank every single participant. I mean, for you to participate in this remotely during this insane pandemic time, it just shows you the resilience, I think, of Hofstra students. And I also want to, I really want to thank Stacy Sykes, who works unbelievably hard. And while she's not doing this, she's writing reports for the Long Island Regional Economic Development Council or the Nassau County Executive on the economic impact of this pandemic. And I want to thank Trustee Mike Seaman. Is Mike on? Mike? No, Mike.
Yeah, I'm here.
Where are you?
Correct. I'm here.
Where's Kush?
Oh, he's I put him away. He's barking too much.
It's Kara. Hi, Kara. And Carla. I don't know, I didn't know everybody was, so many people were on this thing. Yep. Anyway, Mike Seaman bought a puppy, violating the, first he violated the social distancing rule, posted it on Facebook so everybody could see that he was violating it. And then reluctantly admitted the only reason he was doing this was to get a new puppy. How is the puppy?
He's good. He was in here earlier when the kids were presenting and he was barking a little too loud while I was asking questions. So I handed him to the wife. She's taking care of him.
The good thing about cats is they just scratch and meow and they don't make loud noises, except Kara's. Oh, well, Kara has a cat and a dog. Anyway, it really is inspiring that all of you participated. And whether you're one of the winners or not, in my book, you're all winners. So, and the experience that you went through is completely invaluable. And to the judges, thank you so much for taking the time and offering tips to all of our contestants so that when the coronavirus goes away, you can go back to being, our students could mature into the Bill Gateses of the world and give Hofstra, oh, never mind, I didn't mean to say big gift. Anyway, okay, here are the winners. Ta-da. The third place winners for a total prize package of $8,500, which is damn good, is Drive 45. The student is David Lazar, a journalism major. Where are you?
I'm right here. Thank you so much. It's a true honor.
Congratulations to you. It is quite an honor. And
thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to. What was your invention?
So my business is a social media and online platform that connects fans to in-person experience, bridging the gap in the sports world. So when COVID-19 is back, we're going to be in person getting people to games. And in the meantime, we're going to be building a loyal online platform of sports fans. So that's what we're doing.
Good for you. Did you watch last night's NFL draft?
I was too busy studying for this presentation, so I did not, but I will be
Good
watching the second
answer.
round tonight.
Good answer. Yeah, I watched it. Our teams picked all the wrong players. Okay, the second prize winner, second place, which is, holy count, a total of $21,000. The team name is A-Brand. And the student's name is Desiree Abdelkader. I hope I pronounced that right. Did I pronounce that properly?
Yes, you did. Very impressive.
Who's a business school major. But congratulations on a $21,000 total package.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's an honor.
Winners are on different screens. Okay, there you go. Now the winner, the first place winner, for a total package of $42,000. Wow. And this is, I'm almost afraid to announce this name. Totally Tubular Tats. And
You pronounced it perfectly.
Mycelium Farrell, Criminology and Global Studies. But what I'm afraid of is, what does the tats stand for?
Temporary tattoos.
Oh, where are you? Temporary tattoos. So that's your, how long do they last?
About 5 to 7 days.
Okay. And is it painful to get one?
Have you ever used a temporary tattoo before?
Surely you jest. No, I have not used a tattoo of any kind.
No, they're not painful. It's like a piece of paper and you put a wet rag over it, a paper towel, and then the image appears onto your skin.
Well, it sounds to me like a great idea, because I hear a lot of people, including my own children, saying things like, I'd love to get a tattoo, but if it's not temporary, you're stuck with it. So,
President,
yes.
Michaela's leaving out the most important
I lost you.
part, and
Yes.
that, so Michaela, why don't you tell President Rabinowitz?
So the temporary tattoos are specifically for people with feeding tubes. The tattoo, I'm sorry, goes around the feeding tube and transforms it into.
Idea. So it transforms it into a decoration rather than.
Yeah, it's an accessory for the tube.
Yeah. Wow, how'd you think of that? Do you have a relative
I actually have 2 relatives. Both of my younger siblings have feeding tubes and have had them for quite a while now.
Okay, so I'm sorry to hear
They're
that, but
probably live. So hi, Callan. Hi, Charlotte.
Well, congratulations, and I hope they are well and grow strong. And this is a wonderful, wonderful product, and so well motivated, as well as being imaginative and creative. So, congratulations to all the winners. Use your package well. Given the state of the economy, who knows? Mike, how's your business?
We're doing good. We just luckily filed early enough that we did get the SBA loan funding. We actually got that money, so that was very helpful, and able to keep people employed, and things are stable.
So you're committing to fund this next year too, right?
I hope so. Yeah, that's what the plan is.
Yeah. Okay. Good answer. Okay, everybody. Thank you again, Stacy. I don't know how you find the time to do all this. Are you writing the white paper?
Yes, right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there something I left out?
You're good.
I'm good. How do I look on Zoom? Okay.
Wonderful.
All right. So everybody stay safe above everything else. And I'll be thinking about you all weekend. Be well.
Thank you, President Rabinowitz.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to thank again President Rabinowitz for joining us, Mike Seaman for sponsoring this, the Center for Entrepreneurship, and most importantly, all of the students who participated today. We are Hofstra Strong, and the fact that we can continue to hold events like the Hofstra Digital Remedy Venture Challenge and have everyone committed to making it happen demonstrates our resilience. Please continue to work on your companies. We are here. We are here in the spring. We are here in the summer. We are here virtually. Hopefully we'll be back in person, not too long of a time. And you will always be part of the Hofstra family, even as an alumnus. Our services will be available to you. So thank you again to everybody and have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much.
You too, Stacey.